Ooh, child. Let's go ahead and get ready for episode number 2. Hold on. What's going on, y'all? Timmy 2 times here, and welcome to Timmy Talks. And this is the Coming Out Chronicles. This is episode number 2, baby. This is where we're gonna start from the roots, from the rooter to the motherfucking tutor. Bop, 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 bop. Now hold on, y'all gotta give me a second because I just ate these nachos, child, and it's just all in my teeth. So I'm gonna try to make this quick but good because, baby, I'm gonna have the itis after eating these nachos. So anyway, we're gonna start from the beginning, like I said. Hold on. Wind it up. So, okay, we're gonna go back to the preschool bathroom. It's like preschool, kindergarten. I don't know who started. I don't know if it was me or one of my other classmates, but we all start going to the bathroom and going in a circle, honey, and start sword fighting. We would all put our things, honey, child, them small things, child. We just put them all together and just, do a little tap, and then we would go to the urinal, go to the bathroom, whatever, going about our business. We did it for some time, but then I don't know what happened because I started to really like it, and then they stopped. They didn't want to do it no more. Now, pause. Pause. We experiment as kids. We experiment with doing different things. Like, we don't know what we're doing. We're getting used to this body that we're growing in and we're developing in. We do things. We try things. Like, it's like, it is what it is. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, you try things. Like, your whole life you were taught that growing up for boys, it was like, oh, when you go to school, like, you got a girlfriend? Yeah. It's just like, did you find any girls? This and that. It's just like, that's what it is for the guys. It's just like girlfriend, guy, and then it's just like, for the girls, it's like, oh, don't talk to the guys. Leave the guys alone. Like, you can't get pregnant and that. So it's just like, well, damn, if the guys are supposed to talk to the girls and get a girlfriend, but the girls ain't supposed to talk to the guys, just be gay. No. There we go. That's the T. But you experiment, you do things because it's like your whole life you were taught. It's like you were taught that you're supposed to date and engage with the other sex. If no one told you that, what would you do? Think about that. Like, you were taught to engage with the other sex. So for me, we used to do that in the bathroom, whatever. And then it got to a point where, like, they didn't want to do it no more, child. I'm just like, y'all don't want to do it because I be ready to go in there, pull it out, baby. Bop, bop, bop. And then all of a sudden, they wanted to stop. So I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? And then they're just like, I don't know, like, time went by, things suppressed because it was just like, it was just a feeling and sensation that I had that I just wanted to try it. Okay, so fast forward a little later on, like, I was an HBIC growing up amongst my cousins and my brother's friends. Like, my own personal friends, like, that I had very few of them. I wasn't an HBIC, but I'll tell y'all a story about what happened with them later on. But I was HBIC amongst, my cousins and my brother's friends. When I used to hang out with them, like, I was older than them, but, like, I would be, like, they would be playing basketball because I didn't play basketball. I would be in the backyard, you know what I'm saying? Like, reading comic books and listening to Whitney Houston and Bodyguard soundtrack. But we're going to talk about it in episode number 3, so let me stop. Episode number 3, we'll be talking about that and more on the tucking the meat to the back. So, one time, like, we went to this elementary school. I think it was called Ryder. And it was like an elementary school that my dad used to take us to when we were young, and we used to, like, do the fireworks in the backyard for, like, the 4th of July in the backyard. The back of the building for the 4th of July, we would go back to do fireworks. I honestly, no shade, like, I was never into fireworks. I still am not. I hate fireworks. Living in LA, it's like they do fireworks 365 days of the year. It's just really weird. I hate it. The loud noises, the startling 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you hear fireworks going off. Then people's car alarms are going off, and nobody parks next to their car. So it's like you hear a car alarm going off for 5 minutes, then finally either just shut off automatically or the battery fucking drains or whatever the case may happen to it. So we go to the school and we at the playground. We in the front of the playground. We used to always play like tag, freeze tag, whatever. That was our game, whatever. So we going up and down the slide, whatever. You know, the slide, when you go down the slide, it's like you hit the sand, whatever, and it's like a little pit. So at some point, one of us had went down. It wasn't me, and they hit the pit. And when they hit the little pit slash dip in the sand, like we noticed there were some magazines in the sand. So we pull the magazines out. Child, they are corn on the cob magazines. Child, a whole bunch of corn on the cob magazines. So we start going through the magazines, but they was wet. They had sand in between them. It was just really weird. So I got them. We was riding down the street because, honestly, like being at HBIC, you don't get your hands dirty, child. So I had them, and I may have had a couple magazines, but I ain't really had the blunt of it. But when we had put them underneath our shirts, and we was riding, back to our house, whatever, with the magazines. I eventually ended up cleaning the magazines off, getting all the sand and stuff off of them, and we started going through the magazines. But they was really into sports, so they wasn't into what I was into because I was older than them. So I was just going through the magazines. I was like, damn, what is that? What is that? That long, big thing poking out, which they wasn't already all that big, but it was just like, it was a male's genitalia. And I'm just like, I was very intrigued. So those were the pages that I pretty much liked, and I used to frequent those pages. And I got to a certain point when I was like, okay, I got to stop going these pages because they got bends and ripples in them. So they go be like, why are these pages worn out and the other pages not worn out? Because I wasn't trying to look for the kitty cats, baby. I was trying to look at the zig. I want to see what the zig look like. So we had the magazines for a while. I don't know what happened. I had them like in an old shoebox, and eventually I ended up getting rid of them because I didn't want to get caught. Because let me tell you something about my parents, especially my mama. My mama was nosy as like she would be going through stuff, she would be looking at stuff, and it just like you had to strategically put stuff in certain places or hide things because she was gonna find them. But I used to have a lot of stuff, like I had a lot of knickknacks because I was into all different type of things, so I had stuff all over the place. So all of a sudden, then as I get a little older, we had this thing. It was called the chip. The chip was something that they jerry rigged, ghetto rigged that you can get all of the like prescription. The paid per view channels like the boxing channels, like the HBO and all that stuff, and the corn on the cob channels, which was 22B as in boy, or I should say B as in brick, because baby, stay brick watching that channel. We used to just watch it all the time. My dad would be coming down the stairs. We would hear him coming downstairs because I told you, like, he'd be like, boom, 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 going downstairs. So it's like when he would go downstairs, we would like her turn the channel. And then, like, if you press the old zero on the remote, it'll go back to the previous channel. So you have to go 2 channels out and then come back. Because my parents started getting the whiff of it and said, oh, y'all watching something y'all ain't got no business to. Y'all shouldn't be watching that channel. So eventually my dad put a block on it. But it was funny. So like one little story, like my uncle, he stayed with us for a little bit. He used to be down there watching the corn on the cob channel. We would be on the steps listening to him. We would go downstairs and we would get close to the stairs and he'd be like, hey, y'all. And I was like, we not there. We would act like we wasn't there. But child, we was interrupting his happy time, child. So then my dad put a little restriction on that. And then all of a sudden it was just like, okay, well, my curiosity is bubbling because now I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's doing something to me. It's making me feeling some type of way. So eventually I learned that you could just keep going back and forth to other channels and going back to 22B, and eventually like a little glimpse of the channel will pop up. Or you could just leave it on the channel. You could hear the moans, the oohs, and the ahs, but you couldn't really see because it was like all like zigzaggy and just like distorted, whatever. So I'm like, I'm really curious. So I'm start thinking of all of the words that are associated with corn on the cob. So we had all these encyclopedias and dictionaries. So I started looking up all of like the genitalia areas. Maybe like, that's what I want to see. Yep, that's it. Right down there between the legs. Show it to me. So I would look up the male genitalia, the female genitalia, the word gay, all this stuff. And it's like, This was back in the day, so a lot of those terms weren't even in the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? And the encyclopedia. So just like I was just trying to think of like other words that I could think of. So you know how they used to have like it was like a drawing of a man with his arms stretched out and his legs stretched out, and it would like point to like all the body parts, whatever. So like I started looking up all those words, and then something very strange happened. Something very strange happened. I learned how to orgasm.
Hey, baby, I love you, man. You're so sweet and handsome and sexy. Oh my God, I love you.
Who said
I love
that?
you, baby. I love you so much.
I just started to just like touch all on myself, baby. When I tell you I was pop, 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 busting them things out all day. Kids everywhere. On the bath towels, on the bed sheets, on the t-shirts, on the socks, on the underwear, on the comforter, on the pillow, in the pillow. Put a hole in the middle of the mattress as well. Bop, 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 bop. Tearing up the motherfucking mattress. Hoping I didn't hit one of the box springs. But I had one of them futons when I got older that I could make from a couch to a bed. I started putting holes in the middle of my stuffed animals. Start bop, 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 bop. Wearing the stuffed animals out. It was crazy. Like I was just doing it so much because it's just like once you start, you can't stop. So after I started to get into that, then it was just like, I'm starting to get older because at this point, if you're having an orgasm, then you're starting to go through puberty. So your body start going through these changes. I started developing body hair, which I always like. After watching the corner of the cob, I started sitting with body hair, and I was like, why don't I have hair down there and all that stuff like that? So eventually started to come, but we're gonna talk about another story later on how I was getting into fights because I ain't really have no hair on my legs. They thought I was shaving my legs, but that's a whole other story for another later episode. I think this could be episode 6 or 7 or whatever, maybe a little sooner, whatever. Right now we're on episode number 2. So I started to learn how to record videos. And like I would have my mom like record like X-Men for me because on Saturdays it would come on, I think like 11 or 12, but that's the time we went to the barbershop. So I would have her record the episode. But it was crazy because like I wanted her to record the episode and pause it during a commercial. So I really wanted her to watch the whole episode and sit there and pause it during the commercials. A lot of times she would forget. I would be so mad. I'm like, now I gotta fast forward through the commercials. So one day I was like, you know what, F it. I'm just gonna start recording my own stuff. So I don't know what I did. I was trying to record a particular movie, and I accidentally recorded Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. And that was my movie. I secretly used to watch that movie. And I knew it wasn't right because it was just like, my whole life I had been taught that, men don't wear dresses, men don't wear wigs, men don't wear makeup, men don't act feminine. And seeing all these men on screen with wigs and stuff like that, I didn't know what a drag queen was. I didn't know what a transvestite was because those were the terms that we used to call back then. So it's just like I didn't know what it was, but I just knew that I was fascinated and intrigued by it to the point where I used to watch that movie whenever I could. I would sneak and watch it, which I had to be very careful because my mom was very nosy. But like they didn't know it was on there because it was at the end of a recording of some other movie I watched, which was kind of crazy because I used to fucking love Tu. I still love Tu Wong Fu to this day. I watch that shit all the time. So now at this point, I'm starting to figure out, okay, like you kind of like it's something going on with you. Like you're not 100% sure, but you like men. You like watching. Men that dress up as women on TV, and you're interested. And all of a sudden, there was this groundbreaking show that came on Showtime or whatever it was. It was called Queer as Folk. Now, child, this show ain't have no African American characters in it. It was all whites. But that was the closest thing I could get to gay at the time. Because also growing up, child, I thought I was the only black gay person. I didn't know any other black gay people because the people I would see in the grocery stores, whatever, they was all white. Like I didn't know at that time until I got to junior high and high school, and I was like, oh, okay, there's some queens up in here. So I started watching the show, and I was like so like wild by like the main character, how he was like having sex with the other guy, the younger guy that he had fell for, and the other character, his mom was like an advocate for the LGBTQI plus and plus X, Y, and Z community. And I used to just I fell in love with it. And I thought all gay clubs were like these big warehouses that were like arrayed with the strobe lights and the smoke and the rain coming down and the phone parties and the alcohol. And all the men had nice bodies and they was dancing like naked and going to the bathroom and the stalls and pop, 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 pop. Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is cute, whatever. This is cute. So I really got into it. And then I started to develop this like weird fetish because I'm going through puberty and I know my body is going through a change. And I know I'm different. I'm not like everybody else that I know of. Because, when you're growing up and you're gay, you don't really have anybody that you can talk to. Like, these are feelings that most of us, we suppress because there's nobody for us to talk to. Because we know it's wrong. So who are we going to talk to? We can't tell our friends because then we think our friends are going to like tell on us. Like, what do? You just hold it in. So I was trying to figure myself out, child. So I started tucking my meat honey, and then the basketball thing came. And that's where we will go into episode number 3. So again, thank you guys for tuning in to episode number 2. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. In the comments, okay, whole bunch of K's with one O. Let me know you watched it, and let me know you liked it. That's how I know if you watched the whole thing, if you put the OKs in the comments. If you ain't put the OK in the comment, I know you ain't watched my shit. You probably watched the first couple seconds. I ain't got time for that. So with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in to episode number 2. And tomorrow we got number 3 coming out. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Bye.